For some reason, last few days, Google Meet is not doing that way.
Oh, so I can only see my own screen. Okay.
You can see your own presentation, but we can see the presentation and your video as well.
All right.
Okay.
So if somebody is saying something or anything, you guys need to tell me if there is any chat window or somebody.
Yes.
Oh.
We will tell you that. Sure.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So shall we go ahead? Get started.
Yes, I'm okay.
Okay. Dear all, thanks a lot. Welcome again for the next episode of our One Step at a Time webinar. Today we have our own mentor and alumni, Mr. J. Krishnan or JK, who is from the, I think, 1973 batch.
75
batch. BTech from here and 1977 from IIM Calcutta. He's been involved with the IT industry in India since 1985 and has been core promoters of various companies, including Computer Point, Satyam Infoway, Microland Electronics, and then was also a part of the Deccan Chronicle and later as the CEO of Deccan Chargers for the 2008 season. And he was also part of the team management of the 2009 season. He's the past president of the IIM Calcutta Alumni Chapter, Chennai Chapter, the charter member and former vice president of TiE Chennai. Today, he'll be sharing with us his talk on learning from the Lilliputians. And I'm very intrigued by the title, so I would really like to hear from you, JK. Thanks for joining us, and we really would like to hear from your thoughts.
Yeah. Thank you for those gracious words of introduction, Satya and Nandini and many others here. I'm delighted to be with all of you. Happy to share a few thoughts with whether startups or larger organizations. We always have inputs which is learning from the giants. Certainly we can learn from the giants. And we've all grown up where, either you're saying what Bill Gates did, Steve Jobs did, the Ambanis did. Many of the larger entrepreneurs, and therefore learning from the giants. Whereas I've consciously looked for what you can learn from people just around you. And for those of you who may not have read the Gulliver's Travels, this was a book written 1720, something like that. An author called Jonathan Swift, Irish author. Of course, recently there was a movie around this, so some of you may have seen that. But in that, Gulliver travels on a ship, gets shipwrecked, and he reaches this island called Lilliput. And in Lilliput, the people are only 6 inches tall. They are only 6 inches tall, and then the book is about the adventures that Gulliver has in this island, Lilliput. So the people of those islands, the Lilliputians, they are only 6 inches tall. So I have taken this to say, what is it that we can learn from people just around us, not the giants, but the Lilliputians? So I want to go forward. Do we know these people? Bill Gates, sorry, since I can't see any one of you, I'm assuming you're all raising your hand and you're saying that you certainly know Bill Gates, you certainly know Amitabh Bachchan, you certainly know Virat Kohli, and you certainly know Sachin Bini Bansal. And would you say they are all achievers? Okay, I'm not able to see any screen, so I wouldn't know even if there's some response in a chat window. But I'm assuming, sorry, all of you would agree that these are achievers. Now I want to go here. Do you know Dandapani? Of course you don't know. So I'm going to give you a little story of Dandapani. Mid 1980s, I had a second-hand. In those days, you guys, many of you guys wouldn't have seen it. A car called the Fiat, and that was the era mid 1980s. Maruti had been launched, and then I went in for my first Maruti 800 car. The first year, it was taken care by the dealer, and from the second year onwards, I used to take it to a local petrol pump to get it serviced. I did that for a couple of years, and then a little boy who was taking care of the car whenever I used to go to that petrol pump was this Dandapani. He must have been 9. I'll still continue in English to say that petrol pump is closing down and they're going to use it for some real estate development. So me and my brother, we are out of a job and we want to start something on our own. Then he told me, sir, we know that whenever you give your car for service, you want it back in the evening because even one day without the car, you will find it difficult. So you will come back by about 6 o'clock, though we may sometimes take till about 7 o'clock to give the car back to you. So we know how important it is for you. So we have come up with a plan that we will collect your car from your house at 8 o'clock in the evening, at 8 p.m. We will do the service, we will do the water washing and everything and give you the car back at 8 a.m. next day before you go to office. I said, this is amazing. I said, please, you can take the car and you can do the service whenever I want. I'm happy to give you where you collect it at 8 p.m. and you give it back to me at 8 a.m. These young boys obviously must have given the same proposition to all the customers who were coming to that bunk to get their car serviced. And I was very sure that they had one customer every night whose car they were servicing. They used to go to some other petrol pump which opened at 6 a.m. They'll do the water washing between 6 a.m. and 7 a.m., clean it, blah. 8 a.m. they'll deliver it to the customer's place. There was not a single day, therefore, that Dandapani, though a startup at that time, did not have a customer. And because he got these customers, when we had a service requirement, when something had to be changed, we went back to him and he was pretty busy. And I'm happy to share that today he must be employing about 30 to 40 mechanics. He has a reasonably large service shed and he maintains imported BMWs and Mercedes-Benz and many other cars. Would you say Dandapani is an achiever? I can't see any one of you, but in earlier discussions that I've had,
yes,
the entire audience would certainly say yes. Yes, thank you.
Yes, definitely.
Thank you. Let me take up Mariamma, another of the Lilliputians. Mariamma is a vegetable vendor. And till a couple of years ago, for nearly 30, 40 years, we were staying in a large house, joint family. So there are 3, 4 families in that compound. Mariamma will come once or twice a week. She will be there at 6 a.m. even before the ladies of the house have started coming out. She will come there at 6 a.m., unload her couple of baskets of vegetables that she has brought. And while waiting for the ladies to emerge, she will sweep the front of the house. She will do what is called kolam in Tamil, which I would say is rangoli, but there is no rang, it's only white in color. But it's an auspicious thing to do the kolam early morning in front of all the houses, keep some flowers there. So it would have been swept this rangoli, which is but in white, in lovely designs, which she will do in front of each of the houses. There were 3-4 of the houses in that compound. She would have done that, and then she's ready with her basket of vegetables. And by the time, therefore, the ladies come out to see what she's got all of this done. Without doubt, the ladies of the house, though they will negotiate with her and say your price is high, etc., will end up buying, even though the larger, I would say, Reliance Fresh and Paramudir, and all these were there around our house. We will always end up buying from Mariamma whenever she is there. So to me, and I'm going to connect this up with something that I did. If you take Dandapani, I thought here is a startup whose value proposition is so strong that the moment he came forward with the value proposition, he got an order from the customer. So in my own different startups and ventures that I've been in, or wherever I'm a mentor now, I want to say, do we have a value proposition that is so strong that when we present, the customer or the prospect says, yes, let's do it, let's try it. So to me, from Dandapani, I learned customer acquisition being one of the most important for us as startups. Is my value proposition so strong? I'll take it overnight, I'll give you in the morning, no problem for you, everything done, no inconvenience. He knew the pain points of customers, came up with a value proposition with that everything was a customer order. And with Mariamma, simple value-added services. It didn't cost her anything to do all those additional services that she did. And she'll bring, in Tamil we call it Arvamana. It's one equipment with which you can grate coconuts, you can cut yam. It's a very difficult thing for ladies of the house to do nowadays. But she'll get all that done for you. And therefore, just by pure value-added, she made sure that her entire basket was sold. If on one day she came to our house, other days she was going on other beats, on other streets, maybe doing similar things, but made sure that customer retention, whether there was other Paramudirs and Reliance Freshes and many others around people's houses, she knew how to retain customers and make sure whatever she brought was sold. Manikandan was again a 19, 20-year-old boy. We had just, I would say, late 80s, early 90s. We had just moved into one of the newer buildings and taken an office space on the 5th floor. We might have in those days taken maybe about 1,500, 2,000 square feet. We were about 15, 20 people at that time. And we had, when we did the interiors, a larger electrical contractor put everything in place along with the interiors. But for some reason, he moved on, and we found that this Manikandan was just this young boy, and he knew some of this, and so we said, okay, let's use him to change some light bulbs, get some fans fixed, and that's all we thought he could do. Over the years, we gave him larger and larger jobs, changing some complete utilities. Then we found that the boy even knew how to fix some air conditioning problems, so we gave him that. Then on his own, we don't know how, along with our network, I would say, contractor, he had learned how to lay, in those days, those LAN cables, physical Ethernet cabling networks. Then he knew the routers and the switches. And over a period of time, he was even capable of diagnosing and fixing the physical layer, smaller issues which were there in the local area networks, including at the switches and the routers. And the amazing thing over the years that he has kept on learning, and he is now the contractor for many chain retail stores, taking care of their entire electrical installation, including what comes and lands in the electrical room, and he's very comfortable with the UPS networks, with the physical cable networks, with the wireless and other networks, with air conditioning. And I was amazed that, therefore, today he has grown and he's got a few people who are working with him, but he still does this. And I learned something, that if you're open to learning by yourself and learning by doing, there is no new technology that you cannot absorb. And I have used it in all the organizations that I've been involved in, whether startup or growing, to encourage all our people, whether they are software engineers, they are hardware engineers or anything, on your own, first get into a particular area which is emerging. Learn in some form. For not everything do you need to run to on Coursera or somewhere else and get some input. Just learning by doing, very quickly we start to pick up something, and then we make sure that our expertise is growing. Krishnan Kutty, again, you don't know him. He's a tea vendor. You will see them. They'll carry baskets filled with flasks. Some will have coffee, some will have tea, some will have milk, and they cater to the offices in many of the commercial complexes and others. And he started serving tea and coffee to us again when we were 15-20 people at that time. Again, his quality was good. Therefore, all of us will look forward to a morning tea or coffee from Krishnan Kutty and an afternoon tea or coffee. He was doing it first for our office, then for our floor, then for the entire building. Different, I would say, these baskets just brought in a bicycle and delivering and making sure that tea and coffee is served. In a couple of years, I found that one of his country cousins from Kerala was now doing this in the adjoining building. When I asked Krishnan Kutty, he said, "Yes, sir, I went to my village and I found that therefore that family didn't really have income. So I spoke to their parents and I convinced them that they can send their boy with me to Madras, okay, Chennai now. And therefore I will teach him how to start getting some income. And then I trained him first on our own floor. Then I have now given him the responsibility to do it in the next building. I still go and supervise, and I'll make sure that he can satisfy the customers there." In a few years, 5 or 6 of his country cousins, all from his village, were delivering, taking care of customers in each building, 5 or 6 buildings in our own area, and they were all getting reasonable income, taking care of their families, and their next generation had all now moved into getting well educated. I'm happy to say Krishnan Kutty's son is a software engineer working in one of the US companies, and he's on a H1B now, doing well. Krishnan Kutty himself has, in his village and close to the town, set up a small hotel, and that's also running while he's still around in Chennai, maintaining and managing his business in many buildings. Would you say Krishnan Kutty is an advisor? I mean, is an achiever? I would say yes. And what is it that I learned from Krishnan Kutty? That not only are you looking after yourself, you are interested in making sure others around you grow. It may have been even the earlier franchise concept. I'm very sure, therefore, there is some arrangement. But more than the arrangement, the fact that what you know and with what you can do, you are in a position to make others also grow and others also get in, is the thing I learned. We do end up, therefore, learning from the Lilliputians. And I want to say, Dandapani is a Lilliput, Mariamma is a Lilliputian, Manikandan Lilliputian, Krishnan Kutty Lilliputian. Would you all agree that there is something that we can learn from these Lilliputians?
Definitely. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. So we have all been only learning from the giants. But I want to say there is so much that we can learn from the Lilliputians, and I'm going to take out and say, just look around, question and learn. I want to give you this example of Jyoti Stores. Jyoti Stores is also in my locality. It's the grocery store, Kirana Wala in our locality. He must have been there now 40, 50 years. Same store, same size. You know these stores. Many of you would have seen them, visited them. His father must have started it. The son is now managing it. Still has his customers. And again, Jyoti Stores has grown in the range of things that he can do, the methods of delivery and other things that he does. Now, I wouldn't say he's technology. He doesn't have a computer in Jyoti Stores. It is still the physical purchases. He'll write out a bill and you need to pay him the money. But his business has not in any way suffered while all the big bazaars and the Reliances and other supermarkets and the Nilgiris and others have come around him in the locality. So what is that ability of Jyoti Stores to have not only survived for 40, 50 years, of course did well in the pre-era of the supermarkets, but continued to do well post-supermarket, post-competition all around him, larger guys. We've all read stories of the, corner bookstore which went out of business because Barnes and Noble came up somewhere else. So this corner grocery store never went out of business. Even recently, during the COVID times, he has, like when my wife called him and said, I want these A, B, C, D items, he said, Madam, please send me a WhatsApp message. That way I don't need to take this list from the phone, and I will later send you a WhatsApp message saying things are ready. I will round it off to the nearest 100 rupees with whatever I can fill up, so you don't need to wait. You come in your car, I will make sure it's delivered, no contact sort of a system. And they make sure that they continue to service their customers. So I want to say, look around, question, learn just from people around us. Reason I'm saying this, okay, before I get this, I want to give some inputs. I don't know how many of you have really started an enterprise or you're thinking about it, but whatever it is, they are smaller entities that you started up. So what I want to share is statistically, and we all think, we'll start something, we'll get funded, we'll grow, we'll get acquired, we'll exit. 99.5% of companies that start do not get funded. Less than point, you talk to angels, you talk to VCs, they'll say out of 100 business plans, we may consider one. Out of 100 people we meet, we may finally end up funding maybe one entity. So what do the other 99 do? Do they pack up and go home? So I would say we have to learn to start, to build, to survive, to grow. And to a large extent, all of these people, and I know many enterprises, 99% of the enterprises, they grow with their own money. So let's be open to all of this. Let me also share with you this little anecdote. And I'm going to wrap it up quickly, and I'm going to spend maybe 10-15 minutes for questions rather than me continuing to talk. I really don't like this sort of a thing which is non-interactive. I'm not able to see all of you guys and keep interacting with you like we will normally do in our other presentations that we do for TiE and the other forums. So there was a particular morning, maybe around 8 a.m., Washington, D.C. metro station. There was a violinist playing on his violin. People were all rushing to work, so they will hear him playing, but they move on. Then a young boy somehow found his music really enthralling. So he paused for a minute, but then his mother pulled him and said, no, no, we need to go. So they rushed past. So like that, a few minutes went, few of them listened for a few seconds, but they were all in a hurry, moved on. 5 minutes into this performance, one of the ladies put $1 into the tin can in front of him. Went on like that, few people stopped for a few seconds, many moved on. He must have played for about 45 minutes, the most intricate pieces written by Bach. And 45, 50 minutes, there must have been about 2,000 people who would have crossed, went past him. Some listened for a few seconds, some glanced at him, nobody noticed, many of them, and moved on. At the end of about 50 minutes, he packed up and then picked up the tin can, and then he went home. The person who had played there was this gentleman called Joshua Bell, and he's one of the renowned world experts on the violin. And only the previous day, he had played in Boston to a full house where the average ticket was $100 plus. This was an experiment that the Washington Post did to just see what do average people do even though the world's best musician is playing free of cost the same songs, the same compositions that he played in a Boston auditorium. Why is it that in being so busy, we do not notice wonderful things that are happening around us? If we can miss Joshua Bell, who was playing on a violin which was costing $3.5 million, if we can miss that, and we miss that because it is happening in ordinary surroundings, and it is not happening in the ambience of one Royal Albert Hall, we are not able to appreciate beauty and value in smaller surroundings. How much more are we missing? So I want us to pause and think, what else are we missing? Please look around ourselves, especially for those of us who are startups and who are there as entrepreneurs. Do not assume that everything that we need to learn is only from the Bill Gates and the Steve Jobs and the others. Look around ourselves. Question, if so many of the enterprises around us have started, they have faced competition, they have faced technology, they have gone through so many years of there's something they're doing right. Do not ignore, do not forget to pick up from the Lilliputians as much as we pick up from the giants. So start, get funded, become unicorn, get acquired, exit. This may be the dream that may be so, but for most people, it has to be start, survive, build, sustain, grow, scale. With own money, maybe excel at being. So this was another lovely thing which I heard. There was this street in London where there were a few barbers, hairdressing salons. One of them put up a signboard saying, "Best barber in the world." Another guy put up then saying, "Best barber in London." The third guy put up a sign, "Best barber on this street." So the best barber on this street has value. I want to say, excel at the local level, excel then at the regional level, national level, global level. All of us are brought up, and all of us, when we start, we're saying, hey, what is that global problem that you're solving? Maybe so, it is valid. But even if you're solving a local problem, but you're solving it so well, you're doing it like Dandapani, you're doing it like Mariamma, you will have no doubt that it can grow, because we bring those other aspects that a Mariamma or the Dandapani may not have been exposed to. But there's no harm in first excelling at the local level, really doing well, knowing that it works, knowing it does flawlessly, but the quality is international, the quality is global, and then we have the opportunity to capture larger and larger territories. So I'm going to finish. When we talk, we are merely repeating what we already know. But when we listen or observe, we may learn something new. Thank you.
Thank you, JK. I think that's a fairly different take on what we normally aspire to. So we listened this long, so I think we would have gotten something. So I will take the opportunity to also introduce Professor Krishnan, who is on the call today. So you might know Krishnan.
Hi. Yeah. How are you, Krishnan?
Yeah. Hi. How are you? Good. Lovely talk. Lovely talk. Absolutely perspective that some of us never hear, probably listen to or observe.
Yes.
I think take somebody of your stature and to actually look at Lilliputians and look at what they do and learn and sort of observe them and learn from them, which is something that we miss all the time. So absolutely, really eye-opening. Few minutes that we have spent this afternoon with you is probably going to open a lot of eyes and ears for us.
Thank you, Krishnan. Yes.
So we might start having a new terminology. Says where are the Dandapanis and Mariammas that we are looking at, and not just
Satya, and I genuinely believe this, and there are many like this which I picked up. I mean, entrepreneurs. See, we are sometimes too carried away, and this is true even on another dimension. I do a series for TIE which is called the Indic Way, which I'll talk separately. But the thing is, we are all grown up in the Western style of management. Okay, when I went to IIM Calcutta, all the cases, everything were Harvard, blah blah, etc. All that. So we end up absorbing concepts from maybe Philip Kotler and Michael Porter, and we miss out great concepts which are here, valid locally. So I've consciously said, those concepts are useful to us. I'm saying what learning from the giants is important, but we cannot ignore. And then because we are learning from the giants, all of us want to be giants, and that is not possible. That's not possible. I mean, I've been in the VC angel community. So Krishnan, everybody will tell you, out of 100 business plans, we may select one. Out of 100 entrepreneurs we meet, we may fund one. So please question, what happens to the other 99?
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah,
I agree with you. Absolutely.
Nice. So when I have a lot of questions and things that I can keep on talking about, but I will allow the other people on the call to maybe share their thoughts or ask anything that you may want to. I know that Karan always has a question. Karan is one of our student entrepreneurs who is very religious about really getting himself up to speed and in the circuit. So Karan?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you would like to share something?
No, sir. I don't have any question as of now.
Okay.
But I am completely in line with the thoughts sir is sharing, so I'm just syncing up with it.
Thinking. So I think
I'm happy. Yeah.
The presentation, normally we have presentations like how do you do this or how do you do that, but probably it's one of the talks where we have had how do you think about this. So I think people are still thinking. Hello.
Hello, sir.
Missed your audio.
Yes. Yes, Anuj.
Hi, sir. This is Anuj, third year guy from IT Madras. Sir, like I really appreciate the way you. I mean, it's like a stepping back towards our shaping and what should we really go after, and it's unlike any other talk that even I've listened to. So that is something I'm genuinely appreciating. And it relates a lot, right? And that is the factor that I guess I missed out on many other things where we try to achieve that, but it's not really very relatable as such. But the examples that you included that were extremely relatable.
Thank you, Anuj.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So just a question for you.
Yeah.
Say you are now at, like, I'm a 20-year-old guy, which is why my question to you is the same. If you were a 20-year-old guy and enthusiast about entrepreneurship or business or along similar lines, what would you have done? Like the top 3 things you would have done?
So for this, Anuj, I will respond more with something, again, both for Krishnan and Satya. Like I said, the other dimension in which my interests have gone is in all our ancient literature. Ancient literature, whether you call it the Vedas, the Upanishads, the Mahabharata, the Bhagavad Gita, various sources, let's say Yoga Shastras, different sources of knowledge. None of these, there are a lot of youngsters here. I don't want any one of you to think this is religion. It's got nothing to do with religion. It's only authors who wrote certain books and certain concepts at different points in time. You please assume Vyasa was the Shakespeare of his era. There is no additional thing to be given because it is written in Sanskrit. Vyasa was the Shakespeare of his era. I have great love for Shakespeare and amazing wisdom that I've picked up from Shakespeare. I have picked up wisdom from Vyasa. So there is no other significance to it beyond that. In all of that, some of those, I'm coming back to what Anuj you said. One is what we earlier understood as the Gurukula system. The Gurukula system is where the Guru and Sishya, they are there in the same location. So the way in which the Guru Sishya Parampara, the Guru Sishya interactions happen, there is no teaching. The Guru does not teach. I want to pause here. The Guru does not teach, but the student needs to learn. The Guru does not teach, but the student needs to learn. How do you think this can happen? I'm sorry, you guys, I'm not able to interact as much as what it is in a physical auditorium, but this is important. Guru does not teach, but the student needs to learn. So Anuj, in your own view, how can that happen? You tell me. Guru does not teach, but the student needs to learn.
Yeah. Okay. So my very first understanding of it is the disciples or the students, they follow what the teacher does, not in an explicit sense where the teacher is teaching, but they just follow or get inspiration from the teacher, whatever he is doing, or somewhere along.
No, that's a very nice response. That's a very nice response that you may learn by observing. But there is a fundamental thing which they believed in, that it needs to start from questioning. Only if the student questions. So the way the Guru Sishya Parampara is, the teacher does not go stand in front of a blackboard and say today's lesson is, and start something. No. He waits for a question to the student's mind. Why is this happening? Why is that happening? Or whatever. And please understand, those are the days when there was no Google. So you cannot just go Google something and find some answers. So, okay. So the Guru waits for a question to occur. Like what your question, what will you do if you were 20 years old, for example? Now for a question, a Guru is you should be doing.
Mm-hmm.
So the leading on always is to first make you think, make you introspect,
Mm-hmm.
and they both Krishnan and Satya, I want to say this amazing thing that all the things have happened through introspection, observation, introspection, looking at data, looking at things that are happening around, coming up with a hypothesis. The hypothesis is then presented, discussed, debate, and from the hypothesis only many concepts then are brought forward. So if you all go back and say, if we are in an era where there is no Google, there is no nobody, there are only 4 or 5 of us, and we are independently observing phenomena, we are observing things around us, and we are now observing, and through that we are coming up with knowledge which is of value. So Anuj, my response to you is, what do you think you should be doing? You are knowledgeable, you are seeing things around you, you ask me a question, what will I be doing? I want to put it back to say, you come up with what you want to do. I'll tell you what my next question will be. My next question will be, hey, why do you think that is an area you think is important? Then your mind will come up with the answer, your additional research will come up with an answer saying, no, if I get into AI, or if I get into IoT, or if I get into something, I think then the future. So the answers will emerge more through this questioning and this interaction, rather than my just giving you a response saying, I think you should get into A, B, or C.
Okay, sir. Yeah, I've got your point, what you're trying to say. Like we learn much more than by the questions than...
Yes, questioning, yes. Questioning,
and
come up with something. Yeah, absolutely.
And it also resonates with what you said earlier, right? See, when you talk, it is just repeating what you already know. But when there is discussion or interaction, then it's something to grow, I suppose.
Yes.
Hello, sir. Karan here. I have one question.
Yeah.
When we see like these people, Lilliputians, we see they're good models, but they're unaware of this, entrepreneurial journey, or how the potential, the scalable potential their model can have. What can we do to help them realize, or to grow big? Because like if they don't know, they can continue operating on this small scale when they have good potential in it.
That's a nice thought, Karan, but unfortunately that will mean a different way to engage. I know there are some what are called self-help groups which are now happening all over the country. Again, amazing movement that I found, which brings together about 20 women, and they're given seed capital of about 10,000 rupees. Then they start to do something there. The people who are into what is called microfinance, they have an organizational setup to teach them a few things on entrepreneurship and to scale to whatever extent they can scale. Okay, but your thought is a very nice thought. There are some organizations who are doing that, Karan, to help scale to whatever level they can scale.
Anybody else would like to share something? Ilango, yeah.
Hello, sir. I'm Ilango, final year master students from mechanical department. So I have a general question. Actually, I think I've got the 50% of answer from your last question from what you've been discussing. So I have one question, like, so when I go about having different ideas, say I come up with list of ideas or something, and half of them seems to be like technology relevant, and half of them doesn't even need a technology, like something like starting up a small thing. So how do I go about validating my idea? Or should I go with market analysis, something like that, or do you suggest to go with my intuition or something which is really interesting me? So what's your opinion about how do I validate my ideas? So when I have like confusing or puzzling many things going on in my mind.
No, I will need to know a little more, Ilango, of what exactly is your concept or idea, and then we can interact. And again, I want to tell you, I can assist in you coming up with your own answers or clarity. That's what I would say. I'm not going to give you directly saying this or that, but I can help you figure this out for yourself.
So, Ilangovan, I would like to add here is JK sir here is one of our mentors in Nirman. So he is helping a lot of teams like yourself to validate their thought process and approach the market. So I would recommend you that you approach Nirman, and we can definitely set up some discussions.
Sure, sir.
Yes. Yeah, that would be the right way, I would say. Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Satya. Yeah.
All right. I think if there are no more questions, I think we have come to the end of the hour. We had a very pleasant discussion. Presentation followed by a discussion. Thanks a lot, JK, for infusing these thoughts in us. And I think a lot of us will churn and definitely come back to you for more insights. With that, I would take the opportunity to all the participants who came in here, and see you next week in the next episode.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Bye. 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 Nice talking to you.
Pleasure interacting with all of you. Thank you.
Same here.
Thank you.